Gary and Sarah share a long and complicated past, having once been romantically involved. Their history together has never completely sat well with Maria, and their recent closeness leaves her feeling uneasy, convincing her that something may be happening behind her back. There is no denying that Gary and Sarah have been spending more time together recently, and it all seems connected to the night Theo Silverton was killed. Although the identity of the murderer is still unknown, Gary became a key suspect after sending Theo a threatening message shortly before his death. Since then, DC Kit Green, who is currently in a relationship with Sarah, has kept a close eye on him. What Gary and Sarah are actually hiding remains unclear, but the pair have been holding private conversations and appear to be keeping an important secret. Maria, like many viewers, believes their behavior points to a possible affair. A preview clip from next week's episodes shows Maria opening up to Izzy Armstrong about her growing concerns. She reveals that she recently caught Gary hiding something, though he insists it was simply a surprise holiday booking for her and the children. Even after discovering that the trip had genuinely been arranged, Maria remains suspicious and believes Gary may have planned it out of guilt. Thinking back to an encounter with Sarah earlier that day, Maria becomes even more convinced that something is wrong. She points out that Sarah acted unusually friendly toward her while seeming awkward and uncomfortable around Gary. Sarah was being overly nice to me and acting really strange around Gary, she says. Something isn't right, Izzy, and I'm determined to find out the truth. The big question remains, is Maria right about what she suspects, or is there another explanation for Gary and Sarah's secretive behavior? Carl's departure from Coronation Street now appears all but certain, with only a short time remaining before his exit from Weatherfield. It's fair to say Carl has earned himself very few fans. Aside from notorious figures like Theo and Megan, he ranks among the most selfish and destructive residents currently walking the cobbles. Yet, despite all his flaws, he remains one of the show's most entertaining villains. Carl's list of wrongdoing is extensive. He began an affair with his uncle Kevin Webster's wife and later caused a devastating hit-and-run incident involving Tyrone Dobbs, leaving him wheelchair-bound. There's a reason many viewers have dubbed him the worst Webster. However, Coronation Street has also provided a couple of reasons why audiences might feel a small amount of sympathy for him. The first stems from his troubled childhood. For years, Carl believed his mother was actually his older sister. When Debbie became pregnant at just 17, she felt unable to raise a child and agreed to let Bill Webster and his partner Elaine bring him up as their own son. As a result, Carl grew up in a complicated family environment. Elaine struggled to connect with him emotionally and often disapproved of his reckless choices. Learning the truth about Debbie's real identity later in life completely shattered everything he thought he knew. The second reason is much simpler. Carl is ultimately a failure in his own making. Even as Debbie's health declined and she faced increasingly difficult circumstances, Carl continued trying to manipulate her out of her money and control of the family hotel. Kevin and Ronnie Bailey both attempted to drive him away for good, but in the end, Carl's own selfish behavior proved to be his downfall. Debbie eventually cut ties with him completely, and even paid him £2,000 on the condition that he stayed away permanently. Most people would have accepted defeat and moved on. Carl, however, refused to let it go. After Kevin recovered the £10,000 Carl had taken and returned it to Debbie, Carl sought revenge. He secretly entered the garage and tampered with a vehicle Kevin was repairing. His plan quickly backfired when Tyrone accidentally knocked the jack, causing the car to collapse onto Carl himself. That outcome perfectly sums him up. Time and again, Carl creates his own misery. While he causes pain for everyone around him, he is usually the person left facing the consequences alone. Whether he can ever redeem himself remains uncertain. If redemption is coming, it will need to happen soon. Earlier this year, actor Jonathan Howard confirmed that Carl's departure from the soap had already been planned. Before leaving, though, Carl appears set to make even more dangerous choices. Upcoming episodes will see him turning to shady car dealer Fiona Morley in a desperate attempt to get money. His actions eventually bring a gun into the garage during a tense confrontation involving Kevin, Tyrone, and Ronnie. The fallout from the incident leaves Carl deeply indebted to Fiona and trapped under her influence, a situation that leaves Debbie devastated when she learns the truth. With his exit drawing closer, the question remains whether Carl can finally take responsibility for the damage he has caused and make peace with his family before it is too late. Given his track record, many viewers may find that hard to believe. Coronation Street is preparing another major twist in the Megan storyline as a new character arrives in Weatherfield. Megan has left devastation wherever she has gone. Not only did she manipulate and abuse Will, but another former victim, Lee, has also stepped forward. Meanwhile, Sam Blakeman suffered a serious mental health crisis after uncovering Megan's disturbing secrets and becoming the target of her psychological games. Even after her actions were exposed, Megan continued controlling Will, persuading him to deny everything when questioned by police. As a result, she managed to avoid immediate legal consequences while secretly planning to flee abroad before anyone could stop her. For a time, it looked as though she might escape punishment entirely. However, an unexpected intervention from Tim Metcalf changed everything. Drawing on his own painful experience of abuse, Tim managed to connect with Will and help him see the reality of Megan's manipulation as she attempted to run away with him. With a clearer understanding of the situation, Will found the courage to come forward and report Megan to the authorities. Now, desperate to save herself, Megan has returned to her old tactics. She is once again trying to influence Will by insisting their relationship was based on love and encouraging him to withdraw his accusations before the case progresses any further. Although viewers know Megan's downfall is approaching, there are still several surprises ahead. One major development comes with the arrival of Megan's mother, Janine, who is set to make her debut on the cobbles. Speaking about the new storyline, Catherine Tildesley explained that Janine's appearance immediately creates tension within the family. According to her, Ben reacts angrily when Janine reveals her connection to Megan. Janine attempts to apologize for her daughter's behavior and struggles to understand how such events could have happened. Eva, however, takes a more sympathetic view. She believes that people can be raised in caring homes and still make terrible choices. Not everyone agrees. Maggie questions whether Megan's behavior may have been learned somewhere along the way, creating further conflict among those affected by the case. Earlier this year, Coronation Street producer Kate Brooks hinted at the emotional consequences still to come for the Driscoll family and confirmed that Megan will eventually face justice. She explained that the storyline focuses on a family being torn apart before attempting to rebuild their lives and recover from the damage Megan has caused. Will, in particular, will continue to struggle with the trauma of what happened, and his journey is expected to become even darker before things improve. Brooks also reassured viewers that Megan will not avoid consequences forever. While she remained tight-lipped about specific outcomes, she confirmed that the story would take a significant turn as legal proceedings move forward. Actress Beth Lilly has also spoken about her experience portraying such a deeply flawed and controversial character. She admitted that despite Megan's terrible actions, the role has been incredibly rewarding because the character is so complex and unpredictable. According to Beth, Megan lies effortlessly and constantly reinvents herself, creating many different layers to explore as a performer. She also noted that viewers have been curious about Megan's motivations, particularly because the show has never attempted to fully explain why she targets vulnerable young boys. Beth believes this uncertainty actually strengthens the story. Rather than trying to justify the character's behavior, the show focuses on the fact that her actions are wrong, regardless of the reasons behind them. For her, That ambiguity adds depth to the role and allows Megan to remain a disturbing and unpredictable presence right up until the end of her storyline. Coronation Street continues to air on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.